Flashy lifestyles, flashy lives rather. So much of your feedback, I can see so much of your feedback on a social media platform at KTN News or at Zeda Brenda, beginning with the hashtag KTN News Center. Continue engaging us on those two Twitter handles at KTN News or at Zeda Brenda. And of course, you can reach us also. This morning, we're also opening our lines for you. So as to have this conversation together with you, our viewers, you can call us with the numbers that will be appearing on your screen. That is 0719 01 2932 or 0790 12027. Let me just repeat those lines again. You can reach us via 0719 01 2932 or 0719 01 2027. Our lines are open for you, our viewers, to also have this discussion with us concerning what you think is making young people risk their lives so as to enjoy a flashy lifestyle. So that is a discussion also we are having this morning in our studio with our counseling psychologist, Lois Okello, and also a student leader at Egerton University, that is Brunt Wardere. All right, let's begin this conversation. And Lois, what do you think is driving young people to have this sort of flashy lifestyle?
Brenda, there's a fact of life that every human being was made to be happy, you know, and if someone can afford to be happy, just work, get resources, get money, get finances without doing any work, the person would be fine. That's basically how a human being is wired. However, it comes with responsibilities. Now, we're looking back, and when I was reflecting on the issue, we are basically raising a workless society. And that begins right from the time that the children are young.
What do you mean by we are raising a workless society?
Where people would have all that they have without working. Because right from the beginning, we are having children who are being taken care of. When they are of age, maybe just to be able to even bathe themselves, they are still being taken care of. They are picked by means to schools, even when it's just half a kilometer. Then they are taken to, secondary school. Then they are provided for with everything they need, especially those who are able, provided for with everything they need. So once they're out of school and they're going to the university, again, if that provision is not there, then they've got to look for it.
All right. So according to you, it is the way a child is raised?
Specifically the way they are raised, but that's on the other side of where resources are available. Then on the other end, the other flip side of the coin is where a child does not have, because maybe they have lost their parents or they do not have because the resources are not there. Then society has stopped caring for who is to be helped. Society has stopped putting their resources together to assist those who are not able.
Okay.
So again, when this child, because again the happiness is there, people would always want to be happy. So they would look for it at whatever cost.
Okay. Wardere, and according to you, what do you think might be driving young people to these flashy lives? Because there is a concern that young people, especially in the university, become a victim of this sort of lifestyle.
Okay, personally, I think whatever that is driving them, these students to do, what they are doing right now, is because of mostly is the peer pressure. And to some extent, it's because most of the first years, you find someone who is as young as 17 years old, joining a university without even an ID, using a birth certificate. This young girl is naive. She doesn't know what kind of life she's exposing herself to. Then the moment you join, you find girls, having a good lifestyle, wearing nice clothes, carrying, gadgets that are so expensive. And then they tend to be interested, like, where did you get these? How did you get it, And then the moment, the other one now, the older ones now, they tell them, like, this thing, I got it from my boyfriend. I have a boyfriend. And she's like, oh, so boyfriends can buy you this. And now for you, when she talks about boyfriend, it's not someone who is her age mate, no. Because her age mates are still in university too. They're struggling to make ends meet. So the moment she got interested, she ends up being, and taken to those now sponsorship things.
What young people call as the slogan word sponsor, or blesser.
Yeah, sponsor. Yeah, sponsor. Now sponsors are, you know, men who are, let's say, above 35 years old, who have made it in life, who have money, who are successful already. So they tend to, you know, now start and following and looking into these young girls, because they know for a fact this young girl is naive. She's so young, she cannot make, you know, she doesn't have that make her own decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lois, let me ask you, when people talk about sponsors, or there's a new word I came to learn about this week, it's they call them sponsors or blessers.
Yeah, blessers.
So, define for us the word a sponsor. Of course, people know a sponsor is someone who's wealthy, older than you, but can a boda person be your sponsor? Someone who gives you that money?
Yeah. You know, in my view, a sponsor is somebody who is willing to give a certain resource in return for a favor. What is happening now is mostly sexual favors, whether it's with male or female. That is the bottom line. But anyone who is willing to be able to give certain resources. So we are having a challenge in the rural areas with border people giving free rides to young girls to school, and then they lure them now into maybe intimacy issues. So that's still a sponsor.
So sponsor is not basically what we young people think in the society. It has to be someone who's older than you.
In the context of what is happening now, as the term sponsor then is anyone who is willing to give a resource that they have in favor of something back from someone who is vulnerable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have parents, Wardere, being a student leader in the university, and you, as a leader, you've seen several young girls or boy or men being lured into this flashy lifestyle, then it begs the question, do parents know the kind of lifestyle the children live in when they're in the universities?
Okay, most parents don't know what their kids are doing in universities. Because let's say most of the young students live in hostels. They don't even live with their parents. Most of them come from far places, not around the vicinity of the school. And then when you come to school, maybe from the schools are closed, you go home, and then your life is okay. You don't have those, you don't even wear the clothes that you wear when you're in campus. Then your parents would just say, okay, she's still the same.
So it's like you have two different outfits.
Yeah, two different lifestyles.
One for university,
yes,
and another one for home.
Because the moment I go home, my mom will look at, oh, this is Amber, she's okay. She hasn't changed much. But the moment I step out of that house, come maybe to the university, I'm a different person. Putting up my makeup, wearing funny hairstyles, dressing in weird, and funny clothing, So it tells that my parents mostly, the parents don't know the kind of life their students, their children live. They don't even, as it is, some of our parents are illiterate. They're not in social media. So if maybe my mom was on social media or my dad was on social media, she or he could have known the kind of lifestyle I live. Because maybe he could have followed me on Instagram or Facebook, on, WhatsApp, see my statuses, see my Facebook status, see my Instagram photos, but they are not there.
Okay, yeah. And which begs the question, when anything happens to these young girls or men, that's the time you hear their parents say, I knew my daughter or my son as a good person. It looks like parents are failing.
Brenda, my heart goes out to parents sometimes. One is because what Amran is saying of the ignorance, or rather that just not being aware. That's what we would want to call it, not being aware. Then the other one is when a child is living a double life, then we are sure the parent has values. So when they go to the parent, they want to be the child that the parent raised. But there are those who are aware, but they are not able to question where the source of this sudden change in lifestyle is coming from. Now, there are also the other parents who are helpless because they can't raise the money, they cannot be able to sustain this child. So someone is doing that for them, and they are holding their breath and saying, I hope they will not take advantage of my child, but they will give her the resources. Now, we also know that there are people who will come and take advantage of that. So they will pretend, they will come, yes, they will provide the means for these young people, but then they take advantage of them after they have helped them. So we are left with those kind of parents. Now, there are those that that the young people that have camouflaged their life completely,
Like
that the
what
parent
Wadere was
gets a
saying.
shock. The parents get shocked. They are not even aware. So my heart goes out to parents. Yeah.
But then, you know, there are also some parents who tend to encourage that sort of behavior, because assume I'm a parent and I see my daughter living this flashy life, bringing money, buying me this, building for me a house, ensuring that the family is well taken care of. I really might not want to question it. So does it mean that I'm encouraging my son or daughter to do that?
Yes.
It is practical. And they are basically even parents who have exposed their children to that kind of life. And in case they bring in or they begin to engage with people who do not meet their standards, they basically just reject them in total. And that is not acceptable. So ideally what's happening, certain parents are encouraging. And it's a sad affair because at the end of it, they bear the brunt of when this child's life is spoiled, because realistically, there comes a time that the person cannot live. There comes a time that they can't continue living that fast life because it comes to an end at some point in time. Then if this child does not have anywhere to go in the society, then they come back to the same parents, either because they are unwell or because they have been maimed, like where they now get perhaps, if maybe they got into an accident, they come back to the parents. Then they bear the brunt. Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, Dere, I don't know what you'd have to say about what Lois has said. You know, the parents who are naive, they don't know, because she's just echoing what you said. But then which begs the question, do some of these parents actually know this sort of, they might be knowing, they might know or might not know the sort of life that their children are living. But do some of these parents ever raise concern even with universities, or what are you student leaders doing?
Okay, again, there's a certain percentage of parents who really encourage, more so with their daughters, to go and maybe have another source of income. Maybe because of, and if you look at that, these are the parents who are from, you know, humble background. They cannot meet the ends, you know. You take your daughter to a university, the only thing that you can afford is maybe her fees, and maybe partially part of the fees, not even whole fees. And now for your daughter to sustain that life in university, you encourage her to go and maybe... And
yet you don't even know the kind
You don't even know. Maybe you don't even know if she's sleeping with men. You don't know if she's doing some funny things and immoral things. At the end of the day, what you want to know is that she's okay, she's fine. But now the moment the unfortunate things happen to her, that is now when you start crying. You know, crying to the community, crying to the school and saying that, no, you know, you're the one who did this to my daughter. You didn't, you know, you didn't talk to her well. You didn't, you know, groom her. And well, we very well know that the grooming must start from way back at home.
And you know, which also it makes me wonder, why do young people get money from people they don't know, men? Because we always assume that it's the ladies who have the so-called sponsors or blessers. But the saddest thing is that even young men in the universities have women who, you call them? Sugar mummies in the university. Or I hear they're called, there's a word they say, Ben 10, like an older woman. The Ben 10.
You become a Ben 10 to an older woman.
An older woman, a Ben 10.
A Ben 10.
And a blesser.
And a blesser.
To a lady. Because again, look at the terms that we want to use. We are using terms that would basically mean good things.
And also so that sort of looks like flashy and attractive.
So that it doesn't sound that bad, you know, so the terms. But Brenda, basically what is happening now in the society that is really sustaining the issue of sponsor and the Ben 10s is we have two people here. We have people who are survivors and people who are doing everything possible to keep a certain image and a certain lifestyle. And the society has put a certain value and a certain level that if you reach that, then you're recognized. If you look like this, you're recognized. Look at how the bleaching is being now called color switch. So that people are saying if you're light like Brenda, then you're a better looking person. We are appreciate you. If you're like Kamran, we appreciate you. Then now we call it color switch. Yet we know the processes that you've got to go through, and it's not cheap.
Okay. Okay, so there is, we're also having this conversation with our viewers also on social media. And Victoria Mudisi says, social media, I've heard some of them call it like that, like because the relationship starts with the social media. So it also goes back to what you were saying, use a flashy name. So she's saying that people say, call it social media.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, then Ole Sirere Dan Rauter says, negative peer influence, what you had talked about, lack of parental guidance and impatience leading young people to go for cheap gains.
Yeah, but then look at this girl who needs to survive. And maybe they don't have parents. Then it could be parental guidance, but again, we are basically looking at the caregivers. In my view as a psychologist, it's the whole caregiving business. It's in the institution, like what Amran is saying. Are there institutional values that when you get into Egerton, you know these are the values because they hope that it will create a better person.
But do the universities actually follow up these values that they put? Because when someone is admitted, there's that guidance you're given, that book, the book that guides you when you're in the university. Do they follow it up? Or it's once you get in, it's your life, you don't care, you attend classes?
Yeah, I think that is the problem now. Universities don't tend to follow up. The only thing is that once you come as a first year, welcome to Egerton University. You're oriented. This is this is how the school runs, everything. Start your classes, make sure, and that is all. And again, the thing that most of some ladies are being, exposed to such life, start from the first day you're in university. There is this thing they call freshers' night. In universities, once you are a fresher,
those are the first-year students.
First-year student, when you first join the university, there is this thing called freshers' night. You have a party at night to welcome the freshers. And again, that is again where some girls will fall victim. When you go to a freshers' bash, there is this thing called drugging. You will be drugged. They will bring cakes laced with, weed and those stuff. And as a fresher, you just think, oh, we have a cake and just eat. You don't know.
And all this is happening without the university knowing.
Yes, it happens. The moment this lady takes those cakes and the sodas and everything that is drugged, she ends up being raped. Actually, there are so many girls who are being raped the first day of campus. The moment she's raped, now you sink into depression. You start hating yourself, like I'm unworthy, And for you to cope with that, you feel like, okay, fine, maybe I was a virgin, came to this campus, first night I was raped. What should I do? At the end of the day, I'm just filthy. Now let me just continue with that.
So now then,
life.
hence you live that life of living that flashy life.
Filthy life, and then you don't care. Just sleep with someone, give you money, fund your.
So why
everything.
do young people live they live beyond their means in universities?
Just to meet the standard of the others, You come to university. If maybe I came the first day wearing some funny things, mtumba, and my classmates and others are like, they are now campus material. I have to be fit in that campus material life. And for me to do that, if my parents can't sustain my lifestyle, if my parents cannot give me money, maybe they just give me my hostel, which is 3,000, and maybe 2,000 for pocket money, and I'm a university girl. I need to have that lifestyle. So for me to meet that, I need someone who will fund me.
Okay. So as a counseling psychologist, what would you like to tell some of these young people? Because there is an allegation that some of these young people, what Dere is describing, are people who come from up country. They get to the urban center and they're so shocked. It's like they have a culture shock.
Yeah, it's a culture shock.
Yeah.
And Brenda, any young person who comes into any institution, they get into the institutional culture.
True.
And that pressure is so high, they will always get influence from their peers. Unless they really have some very strong values within themselves, but where are they getting these values? It's sad that we are beginning to talk to the children or the young people when they have already missed the value instilling point. So for them to be able to get these values, it's just got to again come back to their own self-discipline and perhaps getting focused.
Okay.
But I find it, you know, it's sometimes a fallacy to begin to put food before me and tell me you're going to eat it in an hour's time, and I'm so hungry right now, and I don't know what will happen to this food if I wait for it.
The 1
And you know, on social media, we also have Osman Kolhaye, who says greed and culture of corruption instilled in Kenyans, and which it begs the question, greed. I'm in university. Why would I want to have this flashy life where I come driving this sort of a car, I have this sort of an expensive hair, this sort of, I now stop living within the campus or hostel and to live in the upper market. Yet I'm a university student.
But remember, the society drives the life and living. The society. And that's where the social media and the media platform comes in. If you live like this, it's right. If you live like this, it's not, you've not got there. And even when any advert is being done, it is being done with women, flashy looking stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So the society sets the agenda. And I ask myself, did these children come and find a society? Yes, they did. Were they being taken care of by some people or some institution? Yes. What values did they instill in it? How come Brenda is coming to work early in the morning so that she earns a living, while somebody can sit for a whole 1 month and they don't go to class, and because there's no register, that's a value, there's no register to attend, at the end, she has enough money perhaps to work her way out and have somebody do an exam on her behalf.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just, I know you're a student, a university student, of course, and a student leader. Let's get out of the university environment for a bit. We see young ladies and young men working. They're not students at the university, they're working. As a young person, what makes you think that young ladies, whether they're working or not, assume one is working, earning good money, another is not working? There's no difference. They still want this flashy life at the expense of their own life.
Okay, I think if maybe, let's say a lady is working, to some extent, you know, as human being, we like to have a comfortable life. For instance, if maybe my background wasn't that good, maybe if I didn't enjoy things while I was young, I will wish to have that kind of life that maybe I dreamt of having. And maybe, for instance, if I'm working and whatever I'm earning cannot give me that, then I will probably like, you know, an input to whatever I'm earning for me to have a
And they
good
call
life.
it top up.
Yeah, top up. And for instance, maybe, and again, yeah, and then the moment I am working, I will have suitors, I'll have admirers. And for me, maybe I'll have several lineup of admirers, and each and everyone wants to win me.
So these admirers have their own part to play. The one, there's one who pays the bill.
Exactly.
There's one who pays your rent.
Yeah, and it's like naturally, again, men, if maybe they want to get a woman, the only thing they will do is material thing. Buy you this, give you that. So at the end of the day, you will fall for him.
Okay.
So that now, you know, having maybe someone is paying my house rent, someone is giving me transportation, another one is buying me lunch.
You're sorted.
I'm sorted. And I end up now, you know, losing myself in that process.
Okay, okay. And Lois, let me bring into this conversation in terms of, as much as you're a counseling psychologist, you're also a parent.
Yes, I am.
And earlier on, I'd asked you the role of a parent. But at the same time, we see parents also encouraging their children to live this kind of life. You will never question, I'll come buy you a car, I'll come build you a house. You will never question. You'll only now talk probably when I'm killed, or probably when something bad happens to me.
Remember, we basically said everyone was born to be happy. And like I said, my heart goes out to parents in this way. Parents perhaps would now want to have what they did not have also, what they missed in life. And we had several parents pushing their children to do what they did not do. I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a lawyer. So I'm pushing, you know, we are basically having children who are being used as instruments, tools, for us to be able to achieve
what we didn't
the things
achieve.
that I didn't achieve. And the moment I start handling a human being like some tool, like some money making, like some income generating activity, I will turn them into what they will be. And if they achieve that, and that's the perception I have, then it will happen. Because it doesn't mean that if I am a parent, then I can be a parent without values. So even adults would not have values, and that's why we are having quite a number of the blessers anyway. They are older people who are taking advantage, if I may say so, or getting favor from vulnerable
But you know, the saddest thing is, before you take the commercial break, the saddest thing is some of these blessers, you call them bentens, the people who take care of the young men, are also parents.
Yes, they are.
So which begs the question, how would they feel if another man or another woman took advantage of their own children?
Okay, to some extent, if you ask such a question, he will tell you or she will tell you they have their own life to live. Maybe my daughter or son is over 18. They can make their own decisions, you know? Because, for instance, I think this thing, the most affected are ladies, because as a Ben-10, if you are a Ben-10, probably that older woman, the only thing she wants from you is just maybe sexual, you know, satisfaction only, nothing else, you know? And maybe if it fails, she'll just go for another Ben-10.
Okay.
Compared to a lady, if maybe someone buys you this and that, and then you know, refuse his advance, or maybe refuse to sleep with him, he can maybe kill you, as we have seen, or maybe do some bad things to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like us to take a short commercial break here on KTN News Center. When we come back, we shall be continuing about this life of the first lane when it comes to the flashy life of young people here in the country.
This is KTN News.
This week in the Nairobian. In cold blood, TV star Jackie Maribe's fiancé and the mysterious life of slain businesswoman Monica Kimani. What did her multi-million shilling properties have to do with it? We have the details. Dial M for murder. Sharon Otieno was not meant to die alone. We have the list of those who escaped alive and what her mother's dreams reveal about her killers. Breasts of burden. Big boobs could be more than just showy jugs. Read why you need a checkup and surgery. Kitengeta. Find out why this Mombasa Ndogo has become just a place for nighttime visitors armed with pangas to come knocking on your door. These and more juicy stories, including why DPP Nurdin Haji is not afraid of death over fighting corruption, and how broke billionaire Cyrus Chirongo was overtaken by DP Ruto, who was his spanner boy. The Nairobian, making twice the noise. Grab your copy now.
Let's get your business ready for today's challenges and tomorrow's opportunities with Safaricom Business Digital Solutions.
Mtazamaji, usikose msururu wa mazungumzo mahususi katika awamu ya 92 kwenye tamasha za mwaka huu za shule za sekondari, shule za chekechea, vyuo vikuu humu nchini, mashindano kwenye muziki mwaka huu. Kipindi ni nami nahodha wako Franco Tieno, KTN News, saa 11 jioni hadi saa 12.
there shall be, not will, there shall be a referendum, whether you like it or not. Because there is no any government in the world that can carry its programs under the current constitution of Kenya. This is the most expensive constitution for any government to implement its projects. So the issue of referendum is not debatable.
Next on Daring Abroad, Samuel Kirubi, Equity Bank Managing Director, Uganda.
We've been able now to give the country a platform that can be able to bank all Ugandans.
And to meet him, we boarded a bus from Nairobi to Kampala. He has a lot of experience to share. He's worked in Kenya, South Sudan, Rwanda, and now Uganda.
I'm married to one vision called socio-economic transformation for Africa. I think I'll die doing that.
Samuel Kirubi this Saturday at 9:45 p.m. on KTN Home and KTN News.
This is KTN News.
All right, welcome back and thank you for keeping it KTN News Center. And this morning we're talking about the flashy lives of young people, why they need to have this flashy life, and of course the reason behind it. It is a discussion that we continue having here on KTN News Center with Lois Okelu, who's a counseling psychologist, and Amran Wardere, who is a student leader at Egerton University. Of course, we had asked you earlier to also give us your feedback on a social media platform at KTN News or my Twitter handle at ZaBrenda. So much of your feedback still streaming in, and just to apologize for technical hitch that we are having with the lines, we had requested you to also contribute via phone line that was on your screen. We're having a bit of some technical hitch with that, but you can continue contributing to this topic on a social media platform. And as we come back to this discussion, there's on Twitter, there's someone who says, but Brenda, isn't it at risk? It's not at risk. It's not at risk because the lady is loyal and happy, like having a sponsor. Mm-hmm. As long as you're loyal and happy, you're not at risk at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But remember, this lady who is being loyal and happy, agree. But is this life sustainable up to maybe 60, 50
years?
And when this season is over, of the loyal and happy, giving, I usually use a word that sometimes, being an amusement park for someone else who has stabilized and maybe they have a family. Now, when that season is over, where does this lady go back to? Same back to the society, perhaps then frustrated, perhaps then bitter, perhaps then angry, and maybe ending up their lives, or beginning now to harm the person that has wasted their years. Yeah. And we know that sometimes they've not only harmed the person, but they even harm people that are related to that person. Maybe their child, or they start now maybe revenging on that person. So it's happy for now, but when the season is over, then people begin to revenge.
What, Dere?
Okay, I think yes. If this lady is loyal and happy, as Louise has said, this happiness cannot last for long. Maybe, probably, as we all know that this sponsor is mostly these people who already have families, who have already established their lives. They have their families, they have children, they have everything. But you don't have anything. You're not even married to him or her. You don't have a child of your own. You don't have, you have nothing. You're just an object you're being used. And maybe when you reach a certain age, you know, this person will just drop you and pick the next person.
Okay.
Now, what will become of you?
Okay. Okay.
And there's something also critical, like say if the sponsor then perhaps gives this person what they need. So they need a house, maybe they needed some income generating, then most likely this person is going to stable and then settle. And when they settle and they stable, they want now to get out of that continuous being boxed in for favors. Then we start now a revenge kind of cycle.
So what is the role of religion here?
Okay.
Because sadly, some of these young people go to church. They live, it's sort of like they live a double life.
Yeah. I think, again, here, the religion should come in. Because personally, I'm a Muslim. And in my society and in my religion, a woman is not allowed to have, you know, male friends or have sexual favors from any other man when you're not married. You must get married. If you want to have all those things, you must get married. That is why us, as a woman, even if I'm working, even if I'm earning millions of money and I'm married, my husband must provide. I won't contribute a single coin in that family. He will provide. And that makes me, at least my money, I'll use my money with whatever that I want to maybe to sustain my lifestyle and everything.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
In my view, there is no religion that is worth calling a religion that teaches any of these things. It basically talks about a value, you know, life where you're caring, you're looking at caring about the other people, no manipulation or taking advantage. However, value is so intricately woven in spirituality and religion. But who are the practitioners of this religion? It is the very, very same people who sometimes turn to be the sponsors.
Okay.
True.
So religion has now again been turned into some fashion. So going to church and being spiritual are completely different things.
Okay.
Because we go to church, we go to the spiritual centers or maybe to the mosque or whatever wherever we want to go. And look, Brenda, even the way the worship places are. You know, perhaps in the Muslim community it's standardized. You know, it's just you go in. But look at the flashy, how the religious places or places of worship are now being made so flashy.
And
that,
so
you wonder, is it a competition? Look at the kind of music system, the kind of sound system, the kind of people that are being put there, the kind of leaders, spiritual leaders.
So I also want to live that flashy life so as to fit in. So then what's the solution to bring all this sort of like sponsor, Benten, blessers sort of thing come to an end? What's the solution?
Okay, I think the solution should start first from the society itself. Again, start from maybe from way back at home from your parents, instilling, you know, values and principles in your daughter or in your son. Make sure that maybe if your daughter or your son is going to a, you know, university or outside home, you make sure this person has good principles and values and, you know, everything. When you come back to maybe university, the university should have, you know, sessions, regular sessions with these young boys and young girls, telling them how life is. Tell them they need to learn from others' experience. It's not a must that they experience themselves for them to learn a lesson. No, they should learn from others. What is happening around them.
Okay, in a minute as we wind up.
In a minute, I think we just need to go back and realize where the rain started beating us. And the two platforms that are currently engaging and interacting and holding conversations remains still the spiritual arena and the professional arena, particularly with the guidance, mentorship, and counseling.
Thank you so much, Lois Okello, seated to my immediate left, who is a counseling psychologist, and Amran Wardere, seated on my extreme left, who is a student leader at Egerton University, talking to us about the life on the first lane, the flashy life.